Hello everyone, welcome back to another one of our fun little live streams that we're so famous for causing nothing but chaos by. So today what we have is we're here in lovely New York City. We're just sitting down here on the Lower East Side. Broadway is basically right up there on our left, but don't worry, we'll be taking a closer look at that in a minute. Right over there on our right, of course, we have the Manhattan Bridge, which is the second one. It's not the one that you see closest to us. And of course, if you had the ability, you could go underwater and you could see a totally different form of transportation here. So we're going to be flying the Capri G2 today. This is a lot of fun for a helicopter. We've been doing a lot of silliness with it kind of lately, and I see we have a ton of chaos ready to follow us. I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to hit things, we're going to bottom out, we're going to whack rotors into things. It's going to be messy, but I don't care. I think these things are a lot of fun. One thing I'm going to change real quick is I'm going to give myself a little bit more mass here, just to make it a little less twitchy. So what we're going to do today is we're going to fly around all this insanity here. They did a really nice job with the photogrammetry. I expect completely to get lag. We'll bother the people at JFK. We're going to go up and down, the East River. We're going to go through the Hudson River. We're going to visit Jersey City. We're going to go Broadway, all the different locations here. And basically the goal here is just to, kind of goof off. I'm not trying to do anything too serious here. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to crack my knuckles here. Oh boy, can my feet the little pedal test. Flight Sim, please fix this. That's so irritating. All right, let's get going. Give this a little tiny bit of a collective here. I love how it's like delayed. It's like now when you push it, and the right foot, and we get up into the air. Nice. All right. Okay, so first things first, this is one of the two heliports here. This is Juliet Romeo Alpha. The other one is up a little ways. This is the one for all the, Wall Street tycoon types that you can probably imagine that'd be hanging around here. So we're going to take this one, and we're just going to kind of head right along, and then we'll kind of cut into the city here. Give it a little bit of a right foot. And we're just going to start meandering. One thing I appreciate is the fact that they put a clock on the side of this building for this jetway. The thing I don't appreciate is the fact that it doesn't tell time. So let's go ahead and make our way into town here. And when I say into town, I mean literally into town. When I was flying down here about a month ago, I was, of course, in a Mooney. I was not in a little helicopter like this. And it was a lot of fun to watch little helicopters doing the exact kind of thing that I'm attempting to do right here. And it's always kind of amusing because it's like, yeah, they wouldn't fly between the buildings here. So that one looks really, really fun to fly between, but I'm not feeling it. I think something bad might happen if I attempt that one. All right, I'm just going to kind of sneak between these two right here. That looks pretty good. Let's go take a look off my left. I'm trying to get over Broadway here. I think we could sneak in this way. Nice. And we're just going to kind of come wander down here, and I'll go, I think that's going to be right up here on my left. I should have brought my track IRL today. This would have been a little bit easier to do. I think this is the road I want. Has anybody got a map? Yeah, this is Broadway right here. All right, let's go ahead and sneak our way down here. Whoa. Again, make sure you shut damage off before you attempt any of this stuff, because the solid build... No, this isn't Broadway. This can't be Broadway. I think we're off by road. All right, no matter. We're just going to keep on flying dangerously here until we get over there. This looks like it's a little bit of a narrow canyon to be operating a helicopter like this. By the way, for those of you who have not tried this one in VR, this thing is such a gas to fly in VR. It's just like a little bubble that you just cruise around with. It's looking pretty good. Let's come sneak over here. Am I giving anybody anxiety? Because I think I'm giving me anxiety here. I love it when you catch a little bit of that building ground effect, and it just sort of grabs onto you and sort of snipes you. All right, I think this is Broadway. Let's hope it is. Anyway, I'm going to drop it down to street level here. There we go. Not bad. Not bad at all. This requires a little bit of concentration, I'm not going to lie. I recognize something like this. I'm thinking the movie Godfather, or am I thinking Grand Theft Auto 4? One of the two. I'm trying to figure exactly which one of those that is, but that's okay. All right, this should be the street we came here looking for, so let's just start making our way up this way. As the one-time automatic pilot is not going to help us very much, because we don't have it. Man, the autopilot is really rough on this thing. Yeah, you think? Alrighty then, let's see if they're still playing Cats downtown here. I don't know for those of you who have seen that particular Broadway show. I have not actually seen it other than the movie not the movie version. They had like a live action kind of thing. Oh, there we go. Oh, the kind of not a live action version, but a version of it that has, uh-oh, my view's not resetting. That's been a more recent thing that Flight Sim's been doing to me. I pushed the button, but it doesn't reset. You're all lost already. I knew something like that was going to happen. All right, there we go. Now we can finally relax the right foot a little bit here. Let's see here. I don't know my New York City nearly enough to be like, that's this building, that's this building. I just don't know. But I'm going to appreciate it anyway because it's kind of a neat little building here. Might do something out of SimCity. We can land right there in the front if you'd like. All right, a little bit of foot here. And I'm going to make my way this way. Right, easy peasy. I cannot look behind me because if I stop concentrating for half a second here, I'm going to smack into everything. But so far, we haven't smacked into too many things, so I'm not too worried about it here. Anybody want to play hide and go seek in the city? That could be kind of fun. Yeah, let's go ahead and pull the nose up here. Looks like they're doing some work on that building right there. And I'm going to go ahead and kick it over this way. There we go. Now we have a little bit more room because we have ourselves a proper avenue here. Not too bad, not too bad. I really appreciate the fact that they have like these like green on top of the buildings here. Like it's so cool here. But what I am doing is I'm getting too far away from Wall Street, and I did want to go stop by Wall Street real quick. So while we're here, let's go ahead and bring ourselves around dangerously. There we go. So for those of you who want to see something kind of cool, if you want to think about my first encounter with helicopter games, there was this game that was called Simcopter, and it came out, I want to say, late 90s. That's about when it was, if I think straight. Of course, like I said, it's been a while. There's Carrier Hotel. So when that game came out, by the way, it allowed you to take your SimCity 2000 levels and actually import them as maps to fly around in, just like this. So what was so freaking cool about that is like you could literally like create your own city and then zip around with it, kind of a thing. Like literally like I'm doing right now. But the problem, of course, is like when you played SimCity, you have a lot of the same buildings over and over again. So it creates kind of an interesting situation where you have all these different buildings, but they're all like duplicate copies of each other. So at least in the real location here, everything's looking pretty good. A little bit of right foot. That's not too bad. No, I think I need to come down this way a little bit. I always get lost. I mean, it's a pretty big city. Yeah, we were around here a second ago, so let me come back around this way. There we go. Not too bad. Oh, Desert Strike. Oh, yes. I forgot about that one. Now, the other one, of course, Simcopter was an incredible blast. For those of you who want to like make this experience more authentic, feel free to load up the Simcopter soundtrack. You could probably get it on YouTube pretty good. It's a lot of like combination of like classical, and there's like this techno song, and it's all very Maxis for those of you who are unfamiliar with the game. Ah, there's the Freedom Tower. I was going to say Comanche. TM was too fast for me. I played the heck out of Comanche. You could play Comanche with a keyboard, which I always thought was pretty amusing. But there's the Freedom Building. Actually, what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and take myself down here. There we go. I just want to kind of float. There we go. Whee! There we are. And good thing I have damage turned off, because this is a surefire way to destroy your helicopter. There we go. Nice. Let's go ahead and snap ourselves around here. Gotta love helicopters. There's nothing quite like the way they move. Just sort of, just go. That's the best way to say it. All right, this is where I wanted to fly here. I'm going to come make my way between these two buildings. A little bit to the right here. And that looks pretty good there. Okay, Simcopter, build your city. Yeah, I know. Comanche was really good. There was a Hokum, Comanche vs. Hokum, I think was the name of the game. Again, this is going back to the 90s. And this is before I had a joystick. And one of the fun things with SimCity is I didn't have a joystick back then, but I did have a steering wheel for like playing like, I think it was like NASCAR sim racing, for those of you who remember that one going all the way back. But trying to fly a helicopter with a steering wheel is not recommended. It's very difficult to do. Excellent. Love it, Parker. Again, it's always great to go down memory lane here. But of course, one of the fun cheats for Simcopter, for those of you who did play, it gives you an Apache, and you could destroy the city, like if that was something you want to do. Are you kidding? IDIS, ISPS, ISPPPI. There it is. That was the code that you could do no clipping in Doom. And also, if you really want to go back ways, does anybody remember the code to press in Wolfenstein 3D, the original, in order to get full guns, full keys, and full ammo and full health? Now that's the one you got to remember. All right, while we're moving, we'll make our way just sort of uptown here. I'm going to come swing, get away from all these buildings that seem to be right on us. I can see a familiar sight right there on the right, but we're just going to kind of make our way down the streets. There we go. There we are. Nice. Zico. I just love how I can actually almost read out the advertisement. Just think in a couple of generations, the photogrammetry here is going to look like actual New York City. Everybody's going to go look up the Wolfenstein 3D cheat now. All right, so we go from the really super tall buildings, and we're going to start making our way, like I said, uptown here. I think, trying to figure out where we are. I think 6th Avenue. Nope. This can't be 6th Avenue. 6th Avenue's got to be Torah, right? Hang on. Parallel transfer. Let's see here. 6th Avenue's right here. Now remember, when we're going down this, you have to actually, we have to make sure we put on the Ritz as much as possible. There we go. Got it. Nice. All right, onwards. And that'll do. Perfect. So the interesting thing is New York City itself. We've flown here a couple times before, but it's kind of wild to actually be able to take a helicopter and just use it and abuse it in an extremely dangerous sort of fashion downtown here. But one of the things we used to do is Mom would take us down to New York City for the purposes of basically, skipping a day of school. So it was one of those things that kept me away from my perfect attendance, is because I was having too much fun downtown. No, but we usually would spend 1 day a year, and we'd come up here. We'd basically find a place to park and ride the subway around, and you visit like the Frick Museum, and you stop by the UN, and kind of do all the different locations that you're kind of known for in New York City. But one of my favorite things to do is to actually stop by Chinatown. And in Chinatown, you actually had a lot of really neat little places, totally different kind of restaurants. Like you could get yourself like the world's greatest green tea for like $2, and it was absolutely amazing. But one of the things they did is, of course, we wanted to stop by and visit one of the local restaurants. And when you pick the correct restaurant, of course, in New York City, the thing you got to remember is there's the kind of off the beaten trail, like dark alley, you're going to get stabbed restaurants, and then there's kind of the ones that are sort of in the pretty, yes, the trees are taking over New York City. It's good for pollution. But what was so fun is that we picked a random, basically off-the-road kind of place for lunch for a Chinese restaurant. And at this particular Chinese restaurant, it was pretty cool, because what they would do is they bring out basically trolleys, and on the trolleys was food. And what you do is you look at the food, and you say, hey, I want that. So what they would do is they'd take the food, they put it out on your table, and then there's a little, like a stamp. What they would do is they'd stamp a little card, which was like your receipt, essentially. So what you do is the food would come by and be like, I have no idea what that is. Let's have that. That looks interesting. Oh, that looks like something I recognize. So they would come around with the trolley, and you grab each one of these different items, and you'd rack it up thinking, oh, I didn't just get a $400 food bill here. It wasn't going to be that bad. So it was almost like a reverse buffet kind of a thing like that, which I was always so typical by kind of a thing. But, this went on for a little while. We're over Central Park, by the way, if anybody's incredibly lost here. Statler and Waldorf. Anybody? So what we did is, of course, we tried a bunch of things. Talking things like fried that look yummy that turned out to be like, octopus, or like something that's like, why did I do that kind of a thing? And of course, you got things that you probably, whoa, careful there. Things you probably recognize, like, your pork fried rices and variations. But that was like a really good experience here. And I was really having fun with it. Nicely done, 407. Nicely done. I think I can look behind me now. Let's see how everybody's doing. We lost everybody. All right. Oh, well, I see Lava Rug back there. Welcome back. So anyway, so we ate, had a thing. And then, of course, they brought out like all the different sauces that you could eat with it. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with Chinese mustard. Some of you might be very familiar with that, I'm sure. And you know exactly the danger here. But like when you get Chinese mustard, when we go to like places near where I live, it's, it's spicy, and it will definitely clean out your nostrils kind of a thing. But when you get the Chinese mustard in Chinatown in New York City, it's a slightly different experience. Instead of going, ooh, that's pretty spicy, it's I don't know, it causes like, I don't know, the world to get black and white and tunnel vision, and like you feel like you're traveling through interdimensions as your internals just sort of melt. Nice. Come on down here, kind of scoot across this. Again, I just love the fact that we have this massively complicated city, and in the middle of it is this huge park, and it's just absolutely awesome. Whee! We did not stop by Feo Schwartz. We're not stopping. It is Black Friday weekend in the United States right now, and I'm not sitting in that line. It would be absolute chaos right now. So, of course, everybody would try it, and we'd all threaten each other to go ahead and give the thing a try. And it was like, oh, so the mustard can't be that bad, kind of a thing. So what we would do is, like, you take a little fork, and you'd stick one tine of the fork into the mustard, and you stick it on your tongue, and then you'd never want to do that again. But the best part, though, and this is what I love about the story, is the locals are completely immune to it. And, you know, you're suffering and crying, and why did I ever think this would be a good idea to do the world's least amount of this stuff on my little fork here? And, you know, some of the locals would come in, they'd take an entire, like, chicken wing, shove it in there, like, dunk it, like ketchup dunk it kind of a thing, and, you know, pound it. And the only thing they'd ever do is every once in a while, pull out a little handkerchief and kind of just, you know, wipe your brow a little bit because it's getting a little steamy. But no need to sip water or anything like that to take the heat off. It's just like, nah, this will be fun. All right. Very, very, very cool. So we're just going to kind of scoot along here real fast. I just love how the city gets a lot shorter, but, you know, you talk about population density. Holy smokes, is this place populous. I'm going to take a quick peek around. I think everybody else is caught up to me at this particular point. We've kind of gotten away from downtown, or we're well uptown now, kind of a thing like that. So we're going to go ahead and buzz one of our handy-dandy airports here, just to be kind of friendly, unfriendly neighbors here. Whoa. I love the fact that the slipstring says that I'm not coordinated, but the ball does, and then they argue with each other as to which one says I'm coordinated. Oh, well. All right, let's come swing this way. I'm going to go ahead and line up. And we're going to go harass the good folks over at LaGuardia here. Here we go. This thing is not the Bell 407. The Bell 407, I can get that thing up to like $1.25. This thing on a good day, maybe 90. That's going to be downhill. So now the last time I went to New York was actually a couple weeks ago, and it was flying, and I actually had a video of that for some people who probably took a look at that. Well, we were actually flying over the actual city itself, or to the east-west of it. Oh, this poor guy in the Airbus, he has no idea we're about to make his day. Hey, somebody's got an H4 over there. Oh man, this is going to be super entertaining for us. Oh boy. I believe the H4 crashed. Alright, let's sneak into LaGuardia. Oof, that was frame ratey. And I do have DLSS turned on, by the way, for those of you who are curious. Check this out. Isn't this awesome? I don't know, I find that so cool. What a city. Like, I just don't live in a city. You know, I live out in the countryside. You know, the biggest thing we have to deal with is cowburbs, essentially. I have to put my controller so far forward to make this thing. Fortunately, we have no elevator trim, which is killing me just a tiny bit here. There we go. Of course, we don't have to fly this. What is he doing? Oh, apparently he's trying to make a water landing there. That's all right. So the fun thing about our good friends over at LaGuardia is they actually control this part of New York's airspace. So when you're doing anything along, you know, central Manhattan or something like that, you're always going to be dealing with them. The good folks at JFK, they're actually kind of that way, and we'll be dealing with them shortly. Let's go ahead and fly right over the top of this. Check this out. That's so cool. All right, let's go be irritating. Keep in mind, they probably don't have all players turned on, so we're actually not going to be irritating. All right. I feel like I'm making a run on the Death Star here. There we go. Now we got some speed. Oh, look at that guy. Southwest. How you doing? Woohoo! Go ahead and do the quick little droppy drop. And we'll drop the RPM a little bit, and then we'll come swinging in this way. There we are. How you doing, Iron Sheep? Sorry about this, but this is just us being silly. Don't worry, they don't have all players turned on, I'm sure. They did not see us. Or if they did see us, they probably said, what the heck? As, you know, I go ripping by with several other people. All right, so now that we're safely out of the city here, we can start making our way over to JFK, which is not too far for us. JFK, of course, for those who are unfamiliar with it, we're basically going to kind of hang on this little heading here. What I'm hoping to do, though, is to actually find the highway, and use the highway as a way to kind of get there. This is going to be a little bit simpler. I think we're going to come this way just a little bit. I think the 678, does anybody have a road map? Anybody got a road map? All right, cool. It's got to be, oh, there it is. Yeah, if you take a look at this mega highway here, I believe we can just follow this right to JFK, if I recall correctly. Yeah, I think so. All right, everybody look for road signs. Let's try not to get too lost here. But you have to imagine just how incredibly bad the traffic is going to get here. You know, we're going to take this major highway that takes us right over to the airport itself, but we're going to do it in such a way that, you know, doesn't really have a lot of lanes. There we go. Yeah, we just stay on this for a little while and we should be fine. Now, for those of you who've never seen the helicopter tack chart of New York City, you're missing out because it has a special chart designed just for this region because of the sheer amount of helicopter work that's always going on here. That's kind of neat. I think you know what was right here. Anybody see Men in Black? Oh, you want me to turn the fan off? Yeah, sure. Remember, helicopters are just so ugly, it rejects them. That's what makes them appear to fly. Or you could beat the air into submission, or what's the other one I really like? Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right, so we're looking for, yeah, this is a little better. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 lanes here. That's a little bit better. I just like how in New York City, when the trees fall across the road like you have right here, they just leave them. It's no problem. No problem. Alrighty then. So just kind of keep following this. Also, SimCity fans, my brain immediately goes, this is Simcopter 1 reporting heavy traffic. Of course, I think we had SimCity 4 also. That was a lot of fun to play. And of course, then you have the new Sims and all those other things. And I think they made another SimCity, but I didn't ever actually play that one, unfortunately. All right. Come down this way. Let's see here. I think this is going to merge. I'm just trying to remember because, like as if I know where everything is here. Getting close to Queens. Queens is basically right up that way. All right. Man, these trees are serious looking. Nice. My brain's like, did I retract the landing gear? So a fun thing, whoa, got cut off. That's all right, though. In real flying news, I got my complex endorsement on Wednesday, which is actually a lot of fun to get. Yeah, New York City is incredible. Like, you could spend a month here. There's just so much to see. There we go. Look at how cool this is. All right, I think that was our merge. Also, you can tell we're going the right direction because look how many airplanes are over there. Oh, man, are we going to be irritating. It's going to be fun. So as I was saying, I just recently got my complex endorsement, which was super fun. I got it on a Mooney 20, which is that is a neat plane, but it is not anything like it is in the sim. I will definitely admit to that. It's quite a bit different. And one of the most wild things occurred to me on Monday when we were actually flying in the evening, something I'd never seen as a pilot before, which I think I'm still shaking a little bit here. But one of the things that had occurred is we had just landed, and this was at night, keep in mind. I did most, where we are now, we're in Eastern Standard Time, so it gets dark as fast as you can snap your fingers. Oh, the sun is already going down. But one of the things is we had just landed, and we were going to do a back taxi and go ahead and bring the thing back onto the ground. And as soon as we did that, all of a sudden a family of deer went shooting across the front of the airplane. And I'm not talking like, oh, a deer. I'm talking like, 10, 15 of these things all went stomping across. Now, I am quick on brakes, but I don't think I've ever stomped on brakes that hard in my life. And I pulled the muscle in my left leg really, really bad stomping on the brakes that hard. I know I'd find the light rail. So now we're skids. We're about 4.5 feet wide, actually a little wider. We could probably just use the standard gauge here and just use that to get us there. I love how simple this is. The highway's below this. This is just the railway, which I just think is so freaking cool. All right, here. We're just going to stay on this until we get to JFK. It shouldn't take us too long. But of course, so when the deer popped out on the Mooney 20, you only have brakes on the pilot side, not the co-pilot side. So I'm glad I wasn't looking down. Otherwise, I would have had venison for dinner and probably needed to get another airplane afterwards. But I'm still like, I cannot believe how close that was. Another one that we got to see too is in Flight Sim, the runways are generally pretty safe and they're pretty reliable. When you land on them, they're pretty flat. We are in Chester, Connecticut, for those of you looking for an interesting landing approach if you land to the north. And in Chester, Connecticut, they have a runway that's on a plateau. So there's no like grass or anything in front of the runway. When you show up to land there, literally what you have is just like the end of the runway. So that was pretty scary because it's already a pretty short runway to begin with. We got on it fine. When we taxied back around, the end of the runway looks like somebody had taken a backhoe to it and just dug in. All right, JFK. Cinnabon, are you folks in the mood for Cinnabons? Or are you folks in the mood for Mrs. Fields? I'm more of a Cinnabon fan myself, but again, Mrs. Fields is pretty good too. For those of you not familiar with those, in the United States, these are just common things you find at airport terminals. All right, JFK, here we are. let's see here. I need to get my terminal map out. Let's see. I think we're over here somewhere. I'm just going to tip forward and get ripping here. I expect to see much issues with frames here. There we go. Wee! I think I hit something. Oh, my nose. I hurt my nose. I think I hit my nose on the glass. That happened. All right, that's why we shut damage off before doing this operation here. I think my favorite part was not me crashing. It was the fellow in the 407 who crashed right after me. That was excellent. All right, I'm all out of concentration now. All right, here we go. We have the terminal. I've actually seen, what is it, 650? There's a thing at Starbucks. I'm going to watch out now. I don't want to hit my face again. All right, that's the parking garage B. Okay, is that up? There's the light rail. That's the terminus. So I think this is us on the right. I always forget. Either way, let's go be annoying again here. Who do we have to bother today? Look at these people who are like, oh, I'm ready for my VATSIM flight today. What are we flying? We have an A320 looking pretty good. Come over here. Oh my gosh, an H135. Neat. Look at that. That's awesome. All right, who else do we have here today? We have somebody in a 777. I didn't know that was a thing yet. A couple 73s down there. We have a Pitts. Somebody coming in for a landing. Probably should be shooting right across the runway here. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right. Yeah, I love this thing. I could fly this thing all afternoon. It's just so easy to fly. There we go. There we are. And we'll go and head out of JFK here, and we're going to make our way up to a Republic. Oh, man, that hurt. That really hurt. So the other thing we found out, too, is flying the Mooney is it has speed brakes. As you can see, somebody sneaking up on me. And unlike every aircraft I've ever flown in my life, I've never had an aircraft in the real world that has speed brakes. So like in the flight sim, you're used to speed brakes like, boop, oh, we're going to slow down now. In that aircraft, it's like an air inconveniencing lever. It's like not really like a speed brake like you think of like, oh, we're going to stop now. But it definitely slows you down. The big thing for it is it allows you to actually descend at a normal people's speed. All right, let's go sneak out of here. I love how you go from JFK to like, look at this big swamp here. You notice how bumpy that would be coming in for an approach. Okay, let me go ahead and get my navigational skills here. Let's see here. We need to take a right, I think. Just trying to remember where we have to go here. Oh, boy. Hang on a second. Imagine being in this neighborhood right next to JFK. Ugh. Probably more expensive. All these houses are probably more expensive than anything where I live, just because, you know, you're this close to New York City still. All right, let's see here. Okay. There's the power lines. Eric asks, are there any PC controls for flying helicopters? So Eric, at the end of the day, when it comes to flying helicopters, your cyclic, which is our little joystick right here, which I'm giving the quick little wiggle there, you can use any joystick for that. You don't need anything special for it. One of the advantages that I have is I have a VKB Gladiator, and it has like a 150 millimeter extension on the base of it. So that means the joystick base is actually like between my legs, and the rest of the joystick comes up from the floor, not the floor, it's about halfway down from the floor. So when I move my hand that far, you know, it translates to barely any sort of motion. So I don't have to do anything with like, you know, curves and things like that to get the helicopter to be responsive. But anything you want, you can use as a cyclic. The killer in helicopter is the rest. That's going to be our pedals down here, which honestly, you can use any pedal set you want. It doesn't really matter. I happen to have, these are the Virtual VKB pedals for that too. They have no brakes or anything, but they're so easy to push down on. They take like no pressure, and you don't have to push them very hard to get them to work. The hardest part, though, with helicopters is that guy that I just lifted up there. That's my collective. There's a bunch of companies who make collectives now, especially since helicopters have gotten kind of popular again, thankfully. The problem with collectives is where are you going to put it? Can you put it on your chair right to your left? In which case you have to mount it to the base of your chair, in which case all your other controls are not going to be accessible. Plus, that control now is like I have to lift it up and not hit my table with it. Because in the real helicopter, when I lift up the collective, there's nothing down there for it to whack into. But if your table, like where your keyboard is right here, you're going to smack it. So what a lot of people use is just a regular throttle instead. Now, there's a couple companies that make very, very short collectives. I remember reading about it actually in if you type in DCS Collective Controller Forum, something like that, into Google, there's a person who makes really, really short ones, which are really nice too. How's it going, XP Archive? All right. It's just nice to get out of the city for a minute here. Like, I mean, I'm amazed that you have all that chaos and then you fly for about 5 minutes and like, just look at this. So we're heading out over kind of Long Island here. Actually going to change my seating position here so it's a little bit more comfortable for me. There we go. I'm so sick of pushing the pedal to the right there to keep us somewhat coordinated. Notice my coordinator, my ball is not anywhere near where my little silly string is. Oy! All right, so kind of can make my way this way. All right, so Republic, actually, yeah, Republic should be to the right here. So I think if I recall correctly, oh boy, I got to try to find where Republic is going to be. It's going to be right up that way. Yeah, the weather is excellent. The weather up where I am, which is just, I live up that way. We're actually flying this afternoon because the weather's so nice. Is basically this. The only difference, of course, is it's a little bit colder here than it is where we are right now. All right. Just kind of relax. Republic's pretty wild. One of the things that they don't tell you about is when you land an airplane somewhere in the real world, you tend to get a little fee for it, and that fee varies. Like if you're landing up near Boston, anything within 30 miles of the airport is $100 to land, even if you're a helicopter this tiny. So one of the downsides of all these really, really neat areas is the fact that we have to contend with that. So interestingly enough, I'm actually below the layer above us as far as airspace goes, so I don't have to panic so much about it. But what I do want to do is I'm going to get a little bit of altitude to make sure I'm not getting lost here. Going up. Nice. Long Island, very, very neat area. They get some very interesting weather because on the one hand, you know, the ocean is right there. So you get that weather pattern, but on the other hand, you also have the fact that you're inland and it's a little bit flat. Yeah, like I said, helicopters aren't bad. One thing that Microsoft Flight Sim did a really nice job of is they actually have a lot of things that you can go ahead and adjust. Like there's actually assistance options where you can have it automatically work your collective for you. So if you only have a joystick, you can just use the joystick and Flight Sim will do everything else. Obviously, you need a throttle to control your collective. Otherwise, you're going to have a very fun time going up and down there. Oh, my foot is so tired. All right, let's see. I think Republic, we should be seeing it pretty soon. We have to pass those towers. I think if as long as we keep the highway in sight, I don't think we're going to get lost. Yeah, that's pretty good right there. I looked down and said, why is everything all like square? And I'm like, oh, it's a graveyard. So my wife and I have a really fun joke that, first of all, the first time when you take somebody flying, they always tell you that people have a lot of pools. The second joke there is whenever there's an airport, there is a graveyard, and whenever there's a graveyard, there's an airport. Just kind of one of those things where the two to come together. Now, for those of you who remember my SimCity reference, some people are like, oh, you put the airport right next to downtown so they don't have to drive as far, or something really silly or ironic like that. No, don't do that. But of course, you can feel free to put it wherever you want. There's the highway. So we're not lost. We're not lost. So the trick here is when you fly into New York, don't fly into JFK or LaGuardia. It's an absolute nightmare, and you have to get a special ticket like months in advance to actually fly it in there, and it's really expensive. Although apparently during COVID, they were actually lottering them off because there was no traffic. So they said, we'll keep people busy by giving them a free chance to land at LaGuardia. Of course, up by me, we have Bradley, and you have like a PVD, that's Francis Green, or what is it they call it, the Rhode Island Jetport or something like that. And you can fly into those as a Cessna 172 during a rush hour, and they don't like it, but they're not going to tell you no, which I think is always kind of fun. All right. I like the fact that we've been flying for about a half hour here, and I've cooked through about 1/8 of my fuel tank. Yikes. All right. I got to get back up again a little bit here. I feel sorry for everybody who has to hold the controller forward. Same. There's no pitch trim in this thing, so unfortunately we're stuck with it. We have yaw trim, which is awesome, but it doesn't work right. All right, I've lost the highway. It's right there, so we can't be too lost. I'm just gonna look around real fast. Trying not to get lost here. Republic should be pretty obvious. I guess I could pop up a little bit here. Going up. There's the road again. We can't be lost if we can keep finding the highway. Yeah, I expected Republic to be up here on the right, but I'll take what I got. Like how somebody's out there with a Cessna 152 just kind of doing it. Love the name, though. Also, appreciate the only mountain on Long Island right there. All right, let's continue. Let's see. I subscribe just for learning the seemingly endless detail of GTN. Makes life so much better. We have a GTN 750 on one of the planes that I fly. The Cessna 182 has a 750. And there's things in the real world for the 750 that are not simulated well in the simulated version of it. But in general, for flight sim purposes, you don't need all the real world kind of doodads. But like, for example, while I'm at it, like I said, I got a couple minutes before we got to land here. Let's go grab it. Whee! I love it when I lag out, I desync a little bit. Yeah, I gotta update this. I'm a little out of date here. Oh well. Of course, what I can do now is I can see where Republic is. That's kind of handy. Oh, yeah, it's just south. Told you. As long as we don't lose the highway, we can't lose Republic. Yeah, Republic's over here. But like in the real world, like the traffic option and the train option and the weather option, we use all the time. Also, when you go to systems and you go to setup, like all these are important and you set all these. The other thing we use quite a bit of too is you have all the alerts and things like that and the way you connect it. Like I can link my tablet into the 750, which is awesome because then the tablet shows it too when I'm working on things. Nibru asked, they added helis to the game. No, these are added. No, this is new. We have 2 helicopters now. We have the Cabri D2, which is this one, and we have a Bell 407, which if you look behind me, you'll see plenty of people flying that. Haha, Laughable Rog, can't keep up with me now. Not really. But, yeah, awesome. I'm just going to come swing to the left a little bit. Republic, by the way, is a pretty cool airport. I've definitely flown in and out of it in the real world as well as the simulator more than once. This is always like the safe place to go if you need to be able to get in and out of New York City without a lot of the chaos. The other thing, too, is if you go up Long Island a little bit, apparently somebody's waiting for us into DC-3. You also have Brookhaven, which is another one. And if you go all the way to the tip of Long Island, you also have Montauk, which is, for some reason, a really, really popular destination. But you got to watch out for the wind because, again, it's flat and the ocean's right there. Yeah, they're not bad. They're not bad at all. All right, come swing to my left a little bit here, kind of line up. What helis do you want in the game next? Oh, you can't ask me a question like that, Jack. It's a great question, though. For me, the missing helicopter here, the 407 is a great choice. The 206 would be cool. What's a really, really fun one? One of our combat helicopters would be kind of fun, like an AH-1, for example. Those things are little boxes, and they're actually kind of fun to fly. What else are the helicopter we're missing out? We're missing out on things like the K-Max, which would be really, really cool because of the fact that it's a coaxial rotor. So for people who are still learning how to fly helicopters, it's just a fantastically easy to fly helicopter. You just give it a little collective and let go, and it literally stabilizes and hover. It's like, wow, that's new. Of course, they have some of the old school ones too. What is it, the Bell 500? I'm thinking of the little bubble helicopter you used to always see. The MD 500. That's what, McDonnell Douglas 500. That's what I was thinking. That's an amazing little helicopter. It's like a little bubble. And of course, for people who like extreme, you also have things like the Sky Crane, which would be a really, really neat helicopter for them to add. It's a more old-fashioned helicopter, but it's wild. All right, we made it. Republic. I'm pretty sure this is Republic. Anybody? Where's the FBO? Yep, Republic. We made it. All right, let's go ahead and slow down. I'm going to go ahead and bring us in a nice little pattern here. Oh my gosh, I just get to relieve the pressure in the yoke for a second here. Woof! Yeah, the neat thing about the K-Max, somebody was mentioning it in the chat over there, is the company who makes it, I actually have a buddy who works there. So it's a pretty neat helicopter. Like I said, I believe they have one in X-Plane for an add-on airplane. Alrighty then. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a nice parking spot. Wow, look at how much transient aviation parking they have. This is incredible. Oh man, that's nuts. And also, I love how somebody brought their F-18. The radial helicopter, the gyrocopters are super duper fun too. This is definitely a different kind of thing for sure. I have my signal on, but the guy's not. Okay, who parked there? Dude. I'm gonna move your plane for you. All right, we need to get ourselves a nice place to park here. Hey, somebody brought an Edge of the Epica here. Whoa, look at the traffic. It's just like New York. Even the taxiways get backed up. All right. That looks pretty good here. Come spin around. We'll go pop it right over here. Looks pretty good. Good. Level my nose off. Oh, I forgot how to fly this thing. I've been holding the controls for it so long. There we go. Nice. I love how stable this thing is. And given its size, I'm glad we didn't get a Robinson. Not that I don't like Robinsons, but they're a whole other beast to try to fly. Oh, my feet! All right, as always, if you'd like to come join us for a picture, you can come on down. Kind of a fun picture. Again, not something you get to see every day. As always, when we get to the end of one of these, I always like to ask if anybody has any questions or concerns or anything like that, or things you'd like to see as far as a later video or anything of those. I mentioned it earlier in the video, Jack, so if you rewind a little bit, I'll tell you about the VKB and things like that. Nothing too crazy here. I'm just trying to see if there's something fun here. So that was a lot of work to get us safely here, so I kind of feel back. There's a club bar next to you called Club 56. Oh, man, that's too bad that is not a thing. Let me get the picture. Look at how cool this picture is. I love that. Oh, there's another one. He's got the right idea. That's me flying right there. Love it. I gotta make sure we get everybody in sight here. Nice. Got it. All right. I'm going to go take off, and we'll go head over to the ocean real quick and go swimming. I'll go ahead and shut off our damage here. I definitely put on easy here because we were doing some pretty reckless flying through city there. All right. As always, I like to get to the end. I like to ask anybody if they have any questions, comments, things that they would like to see. North Sea Industry. Oh, yeah. AB Photos brought up something really cool, and that's the fact that they have a new add-on that gives us all the North Sea rigs, so we can do all of those kind of things. A lot of flying over water when we do that, though. All right, let's go sneak this way. And I'm just kind of getting ripping along. I haven't been to Republic in a while. I should fly down here again. I forget what the landing fee is, though. Why is there G91? Oh, well. What does that say? Burger 5? Neat. All right, so I think the nearest source of water is just off my 12 o'clock here. Yep, Merry Christmas. All right. Ha, I would love to see that. Like I said in the beginning of the thing, go check out Simcopter. It's an older game, but the soundtrack is so much fun, and it's a really easy game. But they totally grasp the concept of making it so that you have something to do in the helicopter. And I think even from a flight sim perspective, there's a lot of really good ideas in there. You know, picking people up, putting out fires, firing tear gas at riots. Like, those are all like really fun things to do with a helicopter. Yeah, South Shore. Oh boy, I got to find myself some water to do a nice touch and go on, also known as a kersploosh. Oh man, it was so good. I legitimately enjoyed that game. I'm kind of tempted to go play it again, but I know better. Like I said, helicopters, I just have such a soft spot. DCS, by the way, for those of you who follow DCS, we have an Apache, and we have a Kamal 50, and we also, of course, have the, what's the one I'm forgetting real quickly? We're going to be getting the 206, that variation, the OH-58. Oh my gosh, having a blank. Oh, the Huey. And of course, we have the Gazelle, and the Gazelle is a super blast to fly. I sort of wish we had it in Flight Sim because it's so twitchy. How's it going, Magni? All right. Nice. Yeah, no comments or complaints. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go find a nice soft thing of water to put ourselves along. Oh. AB Photos just told us that we can land on water. Oh my gosh. Yep. Now I got to do it. Oh, I've got to try this now. Glad somebody brought that up. Is there a lot of baseball in this country or what? Anybody enjoying the World Cup? Oh yeah, definitely time to go swimming. Anybody who's seen my live streams before, I notice. Unless I had to work really hard for a flight, like if I'm flying an airliner or something like that, a VATSIM, yeah, I always like to go swimming afterwards. All right, that looks like enough water. Keep in mind, this time of year, the water gets really cold, so this is not going to be very pleasant for us. Alrighty then. There we go. This is fun. I love how you have to go from left foot to right foot. Come on, translational lift. Go away. Nobody likes you. Oh, this is going to be bad. So, I'm a school teacher, and this is the United States. We're not big World Cup people. But one of the big things is I've never had to take so many cell phones away in the last week, ever. Oh, it was soft! All right, as always, folks, thank you for watching. Enjoy, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. I'm thinking a little bit about something with the Airbus A310. So for those of you who haven't tried it yet, it might be worth it to look. Enjoy.